G'day, this is Captain Noob, and this is an anti-armor Western revolver with bullets exploding for area damage as a secondary legendary effect. Now, a couple of people in the comments in the last video were talking about the Western revolver and how the severe receiver does more damage than the hardened receiver or prime receiver, which I think maybe is a bug, but that's cool because we want all the damage you can possibly get on this thing because it's a little bit slow. But people wanted to see the Western revolver. I don't think I've shown off an AAE version of these, so post 1 Wasteland, how do they do? Who knows? We'll have to find out. Getting 109 damage out of this with no perks added. The severe receiver, like I said before, doing better damage than a hardened receiver or a prime receiver, and we get increased critical shot damage, which is going to be helpful if we want to be utilizing this thing in VATS. And if we are utilizing this thing in VATS, we'll target the leg this time properly because that gives you more damage because hitboxes and overlapping maybe. I don't know how it works, but it's bugged right now, so we might as well take advantage of that, right? It's not like any other people are restraining from, viewing and demonstrating damage exploits now, are we? So we've got the aligned long barrel and the aligned grip to optimize the VATS cost a little bit. Gives me a little bit of hipfire accuracy as well, so if we don't want to use the reflex sight to, aim down slice with that, we're going to be using chameleon armor, so if we want to shoot at stuff with hipfire, that'll be nice. And we've got the American paint on. We like America on this channel. They were good friends during the Second World War when the Japanese were trying to take over. They had our backs. The British didn't. They were off fighting the war with Germany and Europe. But no, the Americans had our backs. Thanks, bros. Anyways, let's go ahead and chuck on some of these perks. Now, important Demolition Expert. Still multiplicative, I believe. And that alone is going to give me not that much damage. I'm actually slightly underwhelmed by that. But that's okay because we've got synergies. Let's chuck on some more perks and have like a snowballing effect of incredible damage if they were multipliers, but they're just additives, so that's okay. Instead of getting all 3 ranks in Bloody Mess, I'm just going to go to the 1 rank, and instead of that, we'll be having Grim Reaper Sprint for regenerating all of our AP on a kill, 4-leaf clover for criticals, that for criticals, and making sure the criticals smack a little bit harder. We'll be utilizing better criticals. Got a couple of pistol perks in here that are useful. Tank Killer works with pistols now, post 1 Wasteland. It's nice, kind of needed it. Crack Shot is nice when you're aiming down sights, not using VATS. So if we wanted to snipe with this thing and using a scope, you could probably use that to more effect, but I think we'll be creeping in and using this thing in VATS most of the time. Concentrate Fire, if we want to target the limbs, we'll be targeting the legs just to make sure we can get good damage. We've got Tenderizer there. We've also got Follow Through if we want to get a sneak crit and get that extra little bit of damage. And we can make stuff explode when we kill them. 20% chance. Not a high chance, but it's alright. So we're doing 184 damage now, which is actually quite good. Unfortunately, we've got no suppressor, but if we do compare that to what we had in the lever action rifle, this thing is not going to fire as fast. I've got 1 more on the capacity, 1 more on the cylinder. We got an extra 6 damage out of that 1 rank of Bloody Mess. Cool. Yeah, 190. It's nothing really to sneeze at, but I think this rate of fire is going to drag this thing down a little bit. So hopefully the explosive damage will come into our own ear and punching through all of that extra armor. Obviously synergizing with Tank Killer will do the job. Okay, so here we are outside of the town of Olga Freya. Is that enough New Vegas references? Have you liked the video yet? Because New Vegas reference? Good. And if you haven't, well, it's a free country, I don't mind. Alright, so, well, that's fairly disappointing. If we stay back here, it appears that we're going to get hidden easier. If we keep our distance, we might be okay, but if I target the leg and get a critical, it seems to work alright, but we're going to have to work a little bit for the criticals and wait a little bit, because we don't have all of the luck in the world. I'm not wearing my unyielding armor. As you can tell, the screen is going all seizure mode, and I'm going invisible, so we're utilizing Chameleon, which I think is massively inferior. There's no reason not to run it Nerd Rage, because the unyielding bonuses are massive. Perception, great. Agility, great. Luck, really good. Those 3 right there are why you want to be running Blade all the time, but, for the sake of using anti-armor as an anti-armor and not as a BE, we might be able to save that for a little bit later. We're going to get killed, though, because I'm an idiot, mostly, but we are now in Nerd Rage, but we're not going to be getting the bonuses from that, because we're, again, wearing chameleon armor. So we're just gonna pop one of these things and try to keep the health level a little bit higher. Alright, run around the corner now, and there's a couple more dudes over there. There's a skirmisher, he's nice and squishy. Just go center mass, no headshots. None of this going for headshots and nonsense. We go center mass over here because we can't aim. Dogs are different. They've got a big face, a big head. It's pretty much the entire front of them is their face, so you could easily snag headshots on those ones. If I sit back here, we're going to be pretty fine for sneaking, but we won't want to creep much closer. I mean, he couldn't get up to me, so I guess how to, you know, try to throw my will off would have worked, but there's no will stat in this game. Okay, I don't usually do this, but bam! We want that 25% multiplicative damage resistance for this, because we are going to be in a lot of, under a lot of fire. Unless we just keep nailing these roughies and sneak criticals, then that'd be good, but we can't have that all the time. Sooner or bloody later, we're going to get a moment where we whiff maybe 2 or possibly even 3 of those headshots. It ain't going to be good, but if we can get the criticals to back it up. Now, if you're a more, I guess, attentive player than me, a little bit better on the controls, because the way that you scroll through limbs is with the scroll thing, and you have to touch it very lightly, because one single scroll on your thing is like switching through limbs. So if I target a VATS man and just scroll through it, look how fast it goes through. I went so fast that I sent that dog into a computer, which broke my VATS lock, so I broke the game by doing that. There's probably something else, but, you know, I can say that. We've got confetti mess still going. Okay, cool. The, one of the buffs that I got, we went for the howl instead of the bite. Good for me. One of the buffs that I grabbed on last stream is still not over with. And we actually hit over 1,000 damage there, which is nice. We have to play this conservatively. We have to be a little bit more cautious than usual. There's the... Ooh! Yep, 2 60% misses in a row. We're going high risk, high reward here. We're missing those roughies, and luckily we're able to, you know, dip, duck, dodge, dive, and something. Dodgeball quote. That's a big dog! Did you see the size of that one? Crikey! Like, honestly, I'm just shooting these dogs like normal next to this fucking monster. Look at the size of him! That's massive! What? I've never seen something so huge. That's what she said. Anyways, weird doggo scaling anomalies aside, let's keep going. Ooh, missed that roughie. Don't think we got the explosion, but I think we bounced a bit of splash damage off him there. We got rushed there. If I had played that a little bit more cautiously, then maybe would have survived, but that's boring. You want the action, you want it now, and I understand that. That's 2 quantums. It's my lucky day. Oh shit, I haven't thought of an April Fool's prank for you all. Okay, I'm giving away my account. It's like got thousands of dollars worth of gear and grind onto it, so, you know, I'm gonna give it away. And then I'm gonna, like, make people pay and bid for it, then I'm gonna give it all to charity. That'd be good. A, it's a way out, and B, that means all of the grinding is pointless, so I can move on to other things. See, that doggo is really small. Look at that chompers on them. No wonder they do so much damage. So... yeah, you look at these things, you don't really mind them in Fallout 4, but, you know, you get a close look and where they're dangerous like they are in Fallout 76, you pay a little bit more mind to what they look like, I reckon. Okay, surely for this one we could potentially go for the center mass torso shots here. Man, that reload is slow. Tell you what, if Tyr could bring out his little suggestions for legendary perks video, and then Bethesda take that advice on board and start making some perks to make pistols better. Some really specialized shit, you know? Shit that you wouldn't be embarrassed to take, like Through Hiker. Now that would be great, because this thing is so slow and it holds it back so much. I haven't really ever liked revolvers since maybe Fallout New Vegas, where you could fan the hammer like a proper cowboy. I guess it makes sense there, because the courier, you wear a cowboy hat, you get a 50% faster fire rate boost and all your revolving type weapons. Also the lever guns, they were fucking quick as well. Why am I so squishy? I've got 208 and 222, no rad resistance, but that's fine. I'm not dealing with a bunch of rads. I just feel really squishy for some reason. Maybe I'm used to the 50% rolls on the serendipity things to get by. Am I wearing a dense chest piece? Might be. You know what? I don't think I am. That's probably what killed me against that ghoul earlier. I got padded. We're like halfway there. That's interesting. We might actually be able to carry the instigating bonus through the first couple of shots there because it fires so fast and the server can't possibly keep up. There we go. One shot that fella. That one too. Is it because I'm getting criticals? It maybe. I don't think padded does anywhere near as much damage reduction for explosions than dense does. That's why it's so rare. That's why they want you to grind for it, and it's power that you can depend on. It's nice. There we go. A bit of kneecapping happening here. Like, the health bars are acting very strange. Like, they'll pop down and then like a split second after they'll just empty. Alright, we're getting a little bit more in the groove here, I think. I do believe that the tiny little bit of damage we are receiving out of... oh, it's a Wendigo in here. What's he doing? Something stirred up these ghouls real good. But I think it's useful. That might be just getting us over the line to one-shot these guys for a critical, which is great. The main thing here is not to get overwhelmed, which I've done a very poor job in doing. But again, you'd like to see me put a little bit of heat on it. If I was sitting outside pinging 1 or 2 ghouls every 10 seconds, boring, you know, click off the video. We keep the action hot over here. Even if it does make me look like a dickhead, but, you know, sometimes the truth has to come out, right? This thing's nearly fucked already. Why? Why are the Western revolvers so flimsy? This thing was full when I started. I haven't even been firing it all that much. Okay, we'll just top up the health bar again, because I'd like to test the Western revolver under different health circumstances for a better prefix. This guy's legendary and... Whoa, nice one. Good old 80% miss. Yep, that settles it. I'm not playing XCOM tonight with luck like that, I'll tell you that much. With luck like that, Zealot's bash damage, yeah, yep. We're definitely not going over there, because only bad things can happen out of that. There we go, getting a nice gun through streak. I think what I'm doing wrong with this mostly is like running at really close range where only a 10mm pistol and its sustained DPS with an automatic receiver can actually work. I might change my tactics by sitting a little bit further back, and we can back that up because this thing's got no suppressor, which means at range is going to be more accurate and the damage drop-off will be a little bit less. So if we change our tactics like that, we might be okay. That being said, the only time when I've died is when I'm in these close quarters conditions where the things are actually going to attack me. So in a way, you could probably say that that's a mark against the Western revolver because it doesn't allow you to do that. And now a lot of places, there are options to get around doing something like that. But daily ops and stuff like that, where you need the sustained DPS at close range and the survivability, I guess killing power of a weapon, this thing is definitely not the one you want to use, especially when you've got cloaking enemies. So if I was using a full set of Unyielding and at Nerd Rage Threshold and getting a crit every 2 shots, this thing would be a lot more consistent. And that'll probably be the best way to run the thing. Alright, we've got to remember the grass breaks VATS lock-on, so if we can jump up in the air and take our shots, then that's a good idea. We are still keeping at this medium range, hitting roughies, which is great, except for that one, which I believe was a critical, and we saw the bullet explode. Ah, that's not good. Oh no, damage over time. Rattle hands. No, no, that's different. I've got rattle head. That's what happens when you listen to too much Megadeth. Now, what does that do? Because we might need to actually fix that pronto. Yep, we're doing the rest of this with a huge debuff here. It annoys me that the guy can still spit Sonic Blast at you with his head crit, but I feel like he shouldn't be able to do that. But then, like, headshots reign king over everything, so whatever. No pun intended on that one either. I mean, if you did disable that ability, you wouldn't target anything but the head. Whereas if you target the legs, you can cripple their mobility, which would... I mean, both of those things are pretty bad, but at least I didn't die to damage over time, right? Alright, we're going to go for the spouts here because we're going to be in a lot of trouble if we can't get rid of them. This is not a good crippling weapon. Come on. Come on, bro. Well, I didn't see where that hit scan projectile was from, but I'm glad the game noticed for me. Now, the Mirelurk Queen does make a lot of weapons just fall apart, and I don't think this is a particularly unobvious exception. We've got to cripple the spouts here, otherwise we're in for a bad day. I'm hearing another Mirelurk. If we can get a Grim Reaper sprint proc on you, that'd be alright. It's not going to happen. Plus, we're getting that 25%. Oh my god, I bet this fucking disease is still multiplicative when our damage boosts aren't. Uh-oh, she's going the knuckle. We can counter that, though, by standing up here. Moves and counter moves. She's going to move out of cover here. No, she isn't. Yes, she is, actually. We're back into caution for a second there. We haven't actually crippled the spouts yet, but we've got the elevation bonus now, so we should be laughing. Some interesting, like, crab walking you're doing there. Sooner or later, those spouts are going to recover, and then we'll be in for a bad time. In terms of total damage output, we might get around the same if we were using a bloodied one at Nerd Rage threshold. There's no reason not to. Because you want to spam criticals with a revolver because they're just so slow. But before we do anything else, we're going to get this disease taken off of us. And you might think that having that disease invalidates the testing, but I'd say I'd actually argue that the ability to not get that and not get hit by the Mirelurk King to inflict that disease is more of a testing there because we're a little bit too slow. A lot of that could be put back on me, but still, if I had a 10mm pistol there, I probably wouldn't have got it, because obviously suppressed, right? Okay, one final test for this anti-armor explosive Western revolver. I actually just now noticed above the hammer there's like there's a 76 engraved into the thing. I was gonna say, can you see it? But we're cloaked, so no. Well, this was a convenient spawn, and this is a true test. Good old swing and a miss. We'll go for some bat shots here and then lose the lock on because behind the fence that we can see through. Standard. Hey, there's a Deathclaw helping me out. Let him fight. Like Godzilla and King Kong. I'm backing the monk on this one, alright? We got to place bets. Got a multi on King Kong winning the fight. Or rather, what's going to happen is they're going to team up and fight some other monster, right? Like a Batman versus Superman thing. There's like a big monster at the end that they got to come together and fight. Don't know what will be the equivalent to Wonder Woman, but I guess we'll find out. I think that movie's showing now. And if the Hollywood movie executives would like to pay me for this free plug, please do. Please give me your scummy pedophile money. That's all the Hollywood industry is. It's just like human sex trafficking, I think. That's what the conspiracy theory says, and who am I to believe that? And this got dark very quickly. But I'd like to speed this up a little bit. We haven't had a terrible run against the Scorched Beast. It's going a little bit better than I thought. We have been a little bit blessed in the fact that there's not a lot of Scorch to come and punch us, which we can just completely ignore if we put the pay-to-win tent down. Totally a tactic that isn't cheating, because we paid for it, right? How could it possibly be cheating if you need to pay money for it? They wouldn't put something so imbalanced into the game without considering the implications now, would they? Or is it on us? Do we get banned for exploiting it, even though we're paying for this? Who knows? That's an interesting moral question. Debate in the comments if you've got nothing better to talk about, and if you're still watching at this point in the video. If you've just fallen asleep and woken up because you've heard me talk, how are you doing? Did you have a nice dream? Could fall asleep right now. I mean, we are dinging these guys in the head for decent amounts of damage, but it's just so slow. The sustained DPS on this is not really enough to make it a contender for anything, and that's kind of where I draw the line with revolvers in this game, and same thing with 4, but in 4, obviously, you had all the multipliers to utilize to get the things to actually work a little bit better, as well as lowering the difficulty if you were cheap. But they're just so slow. There's not a lot they can do that a 10mm pistol can't do better, which is strange because a 10mm pistol, you walk out the vault with one of them. Granted, obviously a low-level one, but, you know, it's a similar concept. So, the revolvers and a lot of the gunslinger weapons in this game are sitting in this place where they're not really that effective at all, and that's not helped by the amount of perks they take up in agility, choking your ability to use all of the sneak perks that a rifle-based character would, so some adjustments still need to be made. I've been complaining about this for ages and there's been no word on it, so we can live in hope. Maybe mod support one day will fix this, but yeah, it's not a great weapon. I don't recommend using any of these revolvers unless you want to go for style points. I can respect that, but you're going to get a few people giving you the side eye if you rock up to a Colossal Problem or maybe a Scorched Earth with this thing, because you just won't be performing or doing your job or doing nearly as much damage as you think you are, unfortunately. Which is a shame because there's a lot of content in New Vegas that catered towards pistol builds and abilities to upgrade your pistols and utilize them, but there's nothing like that in 76, so, you know, some content there. Instead of giving us crap on the Atom Store, give us actual shooty gun content. That'd be nice. Paints would be good too. Something different to look at when I talk about Western revolvers, right? Also, there's a 76 over the hammer. Cool, I mentioned it. Righto, that's it for me. Thank you for watching, guys.